Hi everyone and welcome to Protocol 36, and in today's video it's kind of a special one as it's the channel's 100th video, and what's better than making the 100th video be about the show which introduced me to my favorite superhero of all time, that being the 90s Spider-Man animated series, which is considered to most people being one of their favorite adaptations of the character, introducing many people to this incredible character, having a stellar voiced cast and the stories being absolutely amazing. And even though the show lasted for 5 seasons, which is incredibly long, and ended in a high note, there were plans for season 6 before it was unfortunately cancelled due to the fact that Avi Arad and the head of Fox Kids, Margaret Lush, having a huge argument leading to Margaret Lush to cancel the series. However, before it was cancelled, the producer and story editor John Samper Jr. did have story plans for season 6 and characters who were going to appear in the show. Now before we get started, if at any point you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could drop a like, as that would really help out the channel. Thank you. Now starting off with the story. Spoiler alert for almost 30-year-old show, season 5 ended with Madam Web and Spider-Man searching for Mary Jane Watson, who was lost in time and space. And one of Semper's plans was that Madam Web would have taken Spider-Man to the 19th century London, where he would have found Mary Jane. However, she wouldn't have been able to remember her past life. While in 19th century London, Peter would have fought Carnage, who was revealed to be Jack the Ripper. Mysterio would have also showed up, revealed to be alive and in possession of the time dilation accelerator. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like a teleportation device which many characters have used in the show, going from one spot to another, and Mysterio would have used it to rob banks. However, it would have accidentally taken Mysterio to another dimension where he would have met Dormammu, who has shown up a few times in the show, and Mysterio would have worked for Dormammu, trying to bring him to Earth, which also would have led to Ghost Rider appearing, causing him and Spider-Man to team up to defeat both Dormammu and Mysterio. Beetle would have appeared in one episode. Norman Osborn would have returned from Limbo and taken back the role of Green Goblin from his son Harry. Wilson Fisk's son, Richard Fisk, would have returned as the masked criminal called the Rose, and was going to frame the Daily Bugle reporter Ned Leeds. Now, many of you who watched the show knows that Sandman didn't make an appearance in the show. However, the reason why was because of the fact that when the show was around, James Cameron was making a Spider-Man film of his own, which had Electro and Sandman being two of the villains in the film, which led to them not appearing in the show. Though it is worth noting that Electro showed up way later in the series, but due to the fact that it was cancelled, Sandman was most likely going to appear in season 6. Betty Brant was going to appear in the show for the first time in season 6, and she would have been introduced as Robbie Robertson's assistant, and apparently she would have had a crush on Peter Parker. Betty was very close to being in the show. There were also character designs of Betty before season 6 cancelled, which they were going to use, and her surname would have been spelled differently, B-R-A-N-D-T rather than B-R-A-N-T. According to online rumors at the time, Puma was also going to show up and apparently have been written in. One of Marvel's most famous heroes, the Incredible Hulk, would have made a guest appearance, specifically the Hulk from the Incredible Hulk animated series, which is also the show Ghost Rider appeared in. As we know, the show has had many guest appearances from different heroes in the Marvel universe, such as the X-Men, Blade, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, and etc. One of Spider-Man's lesser known villains, Jack-O-Lantern, would have also made an appearance, and Miles Warren, who made an appearance in the show, was eventually going to become one of Spider-Man's most infamous villains, the Jackal. And last but certainly not least, according to John Samper Jr. on his Spider-Man the Animated Series Facebook page, he would have done an updated version of Spider-Man and his amazing friends. An episode would have guest starred Iceman and Firestar, and would have tried to get the original voice actors of the show to reprise their roles. According to John, at the end of the episode, after the villain had been beat, Spider-Man, Iceman and Firestar would have looked at one another and said, "Hey, maybe we should all hang out together and be friends. Wouldn't that be amazing?" Then after a short silence, they would all shake their heads and go, "Nah," and take off their own separate ways. But yeah, these are some of the things season 6 would have turned out. However, as we found out, some villains weren't confirmed, such as Puma, but it would have been cool to see him in the series. And Sandman would have also been awesome. What's also bizarre is the fact that Spider-Man was going to be in the 19th century, trying to find Mary Jane, and Carnage being Jack the Ripper, but would have been a little fun to see. Though it would have been great to see a season 6 for the Spider-Man animated series. John Semper Jr. did also say that he's very happy with how the show turned out, and implied that he was kind of glad that it ended with season 5, and I kind of agree, since when I watched the last episode, to me it kind of seemed like a natural ending, and I kind of assumed that Peter Parker did eventually find Mary Jane. I pretty much got his happy ending, leading me to think that we didn't really need a season 6. Obviously I was much younger at the time and eventually found out it was cancelled, but even then, season 5 was a perfect ending for the show. Peter Parker had an amazing character development, fought terrifying and dangerous villains, teamed up and made friends along the way, and eventually essentially saving reality itself. Not to mention, he got to meet Stan Lee. So even though I would have loved to see a season 6, I'm kind of glad that it ended how it did, and will always continue to be one of my favorite adaptations of Spider-Man ever. However, what about you guys? What are your thoughts on the future plans for season 6 of Spider-Man the Animated Series? Would you like to see a season 6, or do you think season 5 was a perfect ending for this version of Spider-Man? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. If you enjoyed this video, please like, and want more, subscribe. To begin, Protocol 36.